and dozens of injuries every year. Let's get live to Fox News' Scott Wolchek. He's at the #1 location on the list. That's 11 Mile and Van Dyke with a closer look. And Scott, in your tease, you said, can you guess where I'm at? And maybe some people got it right.
You know where I was at for my tease, Roop, was actually 18.5 at Van Dyke, which is that big old roundabout. So I know some people saw that roundabout and they were like, I knew it. But this is the #1 according to state police data and Michigan auto law. You're looking at it right now. You can see kind of why this is so busy. You know, anybody that's coming up here, Van Dyke, major area highway throughout Macomb County, and then you got 696, and thankfully this part doesn't have all that construction, but it's pretty bad. And in fact, you know, we were just at a business over here, and they said there's an accident just a couple hours ago, and they were not surprised. In fact, I talked to a lot of people. This list of the top 20, no surprises to any of them, but the #1 thing that makes people upset, roundabouts. Take a listen.
Roundabouts are a pain in the rear.
Yes.
Those are so useless. I don't get it. Whoever came up with those things ought to have their engineering license pulled.
I am so cautious when I go through there, and you have to be, because a lot of people don't seem to understand it.
They should get it out of there. Make it straight. Make everybody go straight. There's no reason going in circles.
Another intersection you got to watch out for right here, Hoover at 11 Mile. MSP reports 86 crashes, and people we talked with say they are not surprised.
Last week, an ambulance got blasted, T-boned, laying on its side on Hoover. I thought, how the hell can that happen? Excuse me.
No, that's okay.
How can that happen? And it's just, these people, they fly through the yield sign and they hit that gas trying to beat that light. Never fails, 2 or 3 times a day.
This intersection is one of the worst ones for traffic crashes.
Yeah, I saw always. I'm here around 7 years, and every other day I saw there happened something.
#1 is 11 Mile at Van Dyke.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Then we got 18.5.
Oh, definitely.
My personal least favorite, Martin Parkway at Pontiac Trail. That's out where I grew up in Commerce.
I'm not used to that.
Hall Road at Hayes.
Yep.
Hall Road at Shaner.
Oh, Shaner is a nightmare. It really is.
Nightmares. There are 20 on that list. Of course, you can check out the full thing at fox2detroit.com. Just for some perspective, state police reported 186 crashes here at this very intersection in 2023, and that's actually down from the year before, if you can believe that. But basically what Michigan auto law has said is that a lot of these places where there's a whole bunch of crashes happen to be places where there's a whole lot of traffic. Go figure. But also, if there's entrances and exits from the area freeways, that always increases them. 19 intersections on that list were in Metro Detroit. Only one was over on the west side of the state. I don't know what that says about our drivers and our intersections over here, but maybe we could give some to the west side for next year. For now, reporting live in Centerline, Scott Wolchek, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, Scott, I mean, clearly that guy, I think he spoke for all of us when he said sometimes these roundabouts can be a pain in the, you know, what. But I do want to ask you, though, MDOT, I mean, we've done stories on this for years, and I know MDOT has told us time and time again, look, these roundabouts, they're good. They prevent severe accidents. The accidents that do happen are a lot lighter. They're not as severe. So there is some safety behind the roundabouts, right?
Yeah, I do believe so. You know, from all the stories that I've done and a lot of the research I've done in my time as a reporter, it seems like with roundabouts, you may have more crashes just from people who may not really know how to go about them, right? We've all seen that where people get a little, you know, they're a little nervous going through them. But when those crashes do happen, they are less severe. So you're not seeing those big major, you know, fatalities and things like that. So that's
Scott Wolchek for us live shot going in and out, but we got the message there. Thank you for that live report, Scott. Good stuff. We're learning more today after Wayne County Sheriff's deputies opened fire on a suspect who tried to race away in his truck. All of this unfolding in the area of Woodward Avenue and McNichols. Fox News' Charlie Langton explains the man's escape was stopped by a big rock.
An officer-involved shooting Tuesday morning around 11 near Woodward and McNichols on Arizona Street. It could have been a lot worse.
It could have been.
Wayne County Sheriff deputies were on a narcotics surveillance run when the suspect failed to stop. Deputies boxed him in. The suspect smashed the deputy's vehicle.
The individual drove forward, striking the front vehicle, and the officer who was standing up on the sidewalk came directly at that officer. That officer defensively, while backing up, fired 2 rounds.
But the suspect was not hit. However,
fortunately for that officer, as the truck went forward toward the officer, it got stuck on a stump.
The suspect was stuck on a stump, his wheels spinning. But then the deputies tried to get him out. They broke the glass. They tasered him and saw that he had been smoking crack.
The individual was actually, according to the officers, smoking crack while the officers were ordering him out of the vehicle.
Your deputy could have been killed if the guy didn't get stuck on the rock.
It certainly looks that way.
The suspect is a 61-year-old male. He is in custody facing multiple charges. Luckily, no one was injured. In Detroit, Charlie Langton, Fox 2 News.
All right, taking a look at Dearborn now, where the front door of a home was ripped off its hinges during this law enforcement raid. All of this starting before dawn today at a home on Queen near Michigan Avenue and Outer Drive. Local, state, and federal law enforcement on the scene, leading witnesses to fear that it was connected to the recent terror plot investigation. Let's get live to Fox News' Lauren Edwards. She's live in front of the FBI headquarters in Detroit with what she's learned. Lauren.
Rupe, I'm outside of FBI offices here in downtown Detroit, just as you said, and they have confirmed that there was, in fact, FBI activity early this morning over in Dearborn. Take a quick listen.
At first, it was a lot of flashing lights, flashbangs. I mean, sound like gunshots, large gunshots. So it scared my wife a bit. But I could see what was going on. I knew things were under control. But very chaotic for this neighborhood, for sure. It's normally pretty quiet here. A lot of homeowners have been here a long time. A lot of families. So this is a little bit abnormal.
No. Now, that's what one neighbor had to say over on Queen Street, which is where it happened. And Fox 2 was live on that scene as the FBI and Michigan State Police and Dearborn Police all surrounded a home, entering that home, and that neighbor also saying that they were bringing items out. Now, again, this is not connected. They say it's not connected to the alleged terrorist plot when FBI was in Dearborn last, which was several weeks ago. But again, this happening early this morning. The investigation remains open, and Dearborn Police saying that what happened was actually connected to a felonious assault. Again, this investigation remains open. So many questions that hopefully we will get answers to one day soon. Reporting live outside of FBI offices in downtown Detroit, Lauren Edwards, Fox 2 News.
All right, Lauren, thanks for that live report. 2 weeks after the election, the Wayne County Board of Canvassers has officially certified the race for mayor and council in Hamtramck. Results show businessman Adam Al-Harbi on the left side of your screen won by 6 votes against City Councilman Mokuth Mahmood. Up to today, the unofficial results for Hamtramck's mayoral race between those two men show they were separated by just 11 votes, with Al-Harbi leading. However, the race had not yet been declared because election officials rejected 150 absentee ballots because of discrepancies with the signature on the sealed envelope. A pretty chilly start to the day today with some rain in the mix. Weather authority Stephanie Mead is here with a look at the forecast. And Stephanie, during this time of the year, you got to remind people it could be a lot worse.
It could be, yeah. The stuff that we're seeing out there could fall as just plain snow right now, and roads would be a completely different story. But it's just damp. We are seeing a little bit of light moisture out there. There are a few spots, especially up near northern Oakland County and just Oakland County in general, that are seeing some heavier bursts of some snow. Now, luckily, since temps are in the 40s and ground temps are rather warm, a lot of this stuff isn't sticking to any of the paved pavement, so that's great news for commuters right about now. So even though it is dark and it feels a little bit later than 6:08, there's still a lot of people out on the roads commuting home. 41 was our forecasted high today. We hit that here in Detroit, 37 in Lansing. Right now, temps have dipped to the upper 30s. Now, here's our current radar situation at the moment. You see that darker band of blue along I-75 now passing over into Oakland County, or far northeastern Oakland County up near Oxford. That's going to continue to track eastbound into northern Macomb County. So there will be bursts, but it's not going to amount to much, so don't let that scare you. Precip chances heading through the rest of this evening and overnight look to diminish. We do see a nice dry stretch, very mild stretch too, so we'll show you just how warm we get in the forecast coming up. Roop, over to you.
All right, as expected, the U.S. House passes a bill to release the Epstein files, and now the Senate has followed suit. The measure now heads, of course, to the president's desk for his reaction. We'll have the latest on the vote and dig deeper into the issue coming up in our next half hour.
I'm Ingrid Kelly. This may look like home sweet home, but this house is where trauma ends and healing begins.
And I'm Brandon Hudson. When we come back, a Fox 2 viewer called for help after he was having trouble getting money as a part of his much-needed SNAP benefits. Find out what happened when the problem solvers went to work. That's next.
Well, in the wake of the shutdown ending, millions of Americans are getting their SNAP benefits again, a lifeline for many who struggled to put food on the table. But not everybody says they've gotten their money yet. In fact, a Fox 2 viewer called for help, and problem solver Brandon Hudson went to work for him. Brandon joins us live with more. And Brandon, where we have one of these, you perhaps have more people dealing with the same issue.
Yeah, Ruben, that's why we're doing this story here. So Jack Willard, he is dealing with a long-term brain injury, so it is very tough for this 71-year-old to use the phone or the computer. Willard says that every time he called about getting his SNAP benefits, he'd get an automated voice, which really got him nowhere.
You do get to talk to somebody, they tell you to call the same number where it just goes round and round and round with a robot, and you never get to talk to anybody.
How did you feel about that situation?
Well, it's depressing because, you know, older people, they don't know how to use computers and things like that, and you know, it's like my government's let me down. You guys seem to be honest.
So
by 11 o'clock tonight, I will have food stamps, and they're supposed to look into my Medicaid and get that straightened out so that I can get my Part C and you know, be able to afford to go to the doctor again. And I appreciate your help in this.
It's the least we could do. How you feeling now? Are you feeling a little bit better, a little confident now?
Yeah, you know, I was up for a couple of nights. I get worried.
Working for you. And what happened there was Mr. Willard, he had reached out to the MDHHS office, said he wasn't getting anywhere. We called about an hour later. We got him in touch with the folks over at Wayne County. And so he was able to get his benefits. And like he was saying, by 11 o'clock tonight, he should get his SNAP benefits back so he can start getting his food again. And it's right on time for Thanksgiving. So I told him if that did not happen, so if he wakes up tomorrow morning, he didn't get his SNAP benefits, give us a call. We'll continue to follow up. And you're looking at 2 services on screen with Wayne County. You can, and we'll also have those on our website. We're talking about contacting the local MDHHS offices in Wayne County, as well as the My Bridges website that you can also check out. So those 2 options, again, you can find those on the website. But like I said, and like you said, Roop, he is one person of maybe a number of others who are dealing with the same situation. So that is why we are putting this information out there. And if you need help, give us a call. We'll try to direct you and connect you with the people you need to talk to.
You know, you talk about the 43 days that there were compromised SNAP benefits where people are getting partial benefits. That really puts a dent on your weekly budget and your ability to go shopping and get the things that you need.
Yeah, look, it's something that I think we kind of take for granted. Look, we see the need this time every year anyway, but I think to see it a month earlier when people rely on the $180, $200 that they usually get.
Sure.
And then to have that taken away and to not have food, to have to, you know, swallow your pride, go to a food bank, wait in a line outside of a community food bank, it can be emotionally taxing. So to see the frustration also with Mr. Willard of, hey, I'm not getting my food, or I'm not getting my food and my money. How can I get this to work? So
well, Thanksgiving, as you say and pointed out astutely, is like just over a week away. So good timing for that. Brandon Hudson for us. Thanks so much. Well, helping feed neighbors in need. Today is your chance to make a big difference for folks that you just saw in Brandon's story and others out there. It's double your donation day, Gleaners. Ford Philanthropy is matching your donations. The website is right there on your screen. There is also a QR code still ahead. We'll have more on how your donations will help and how that money is spent. Now to a place dedicated to support and comfort that moms need across Metro